And here is just one of the very many insects and crawlers that you will find inhabiting everywhere. And I could very much crush this right now. There it is. You can see all different types of specimens and organisms and animals and mammals, all about everywhere and along your journeys and along your voyages around Google's Earth. It's really incredible. You can definitely see that I'm targeting. He certainly does not appreciate it. Oh, this is just an iPhone 7 Plus, but still, the detail, it's, the resolution is still good. You can see all the intricate detailing, the spider's thorax, and the 6 legs. It's like kind of like a nutmeg color. Oh, it's not having it. Not having it whatsoever. Like, who do you think you are, stalking me like that? Oh. A little bit jittery around spiders. Morbid arachnophobia when I was younger, but that's kind of dissipating. No, he's not having it. Not having it whatsoever. Like, nope. But no matter, it's going to be crushed in a matter of seconds anyway. So, just say rest in peace. Good evening, everybody. My name is Aaron. I'm also known as XXVIII from Grand Theft Auto forums, and it is currently 2326 hours here. It's an undisclosed location in New England, but that is where I am located and coming from right now. And you might see this vehicle is familiar, and that is because I did appear in one of my earlier Everywhere videos, showcasing Everywhere. I showed, basically my intent there was to show, the vehicle interiors and, the instrument panel, just everything, the driving aspect of the game. And this is how it works, just like real life, and that's the point. Power steering, just like real life. That is what Everywhere is, a virtual reality, real life virtual reality simulation experience being brought to you proudly by Mr. Leslie Benzies and Bill Rocket Boy Games. And, I'm grateful to Mr. Benzies and Bill Rocket Boy Games for, for making this happen, because this is this will be an ongoing experience. As I stated before, this is the metaverse, and that is fusing the physical world, physical atmosphere, with a virtual space. And we are ultimately moving to a virtual ecosystem, which is truly, truly incredible, which means every aspect of our life is going to be virtual. You're going to carry out every aspect of your life online. And that's why it's going to be really be synonymous with a live action Grand Theft Auto Online with endless downloadable content. If you think about what Grand Theft Auto Online is now, Rockstar Games they have all this content, bunkers, everything like that, and they have expanded and enhanced that online experience. And what is going to happen is we're going to have an ultimate MMORPG, massive multiplayer online role-playing game, or an ARG, augmented reality game. It's also going to be VR, virtual reality, and AR, augmented reality, and like akin to Pokemon Go, for instance, or Oasis. And it's going to be, it's Oasis and Pokemon Go are the construct of what Everywhere is going to be. Now, you do recall the game Agent, which unfortunately that game was tossed. But there, obviously, there was something happening that transpired in, I believe it was Egypt, and there were some apprehensions that took there, and Rockstar Games had some involvement with that. And unfortunately, that could not materialize. But I was really hoping that it was, because Agent sounded like something truly, truly incredible. In fact, you can see on my channel, I created my own little Agent concept, which was a modern form, or like a modern, just my modern take on what I believe Agent was. And it sounded incredible. I mean, aesthetically, and conceptually, and in principle, if it ever came to fruition, that's truly incredible. But I mean, you're probably wondering why I am stationed out here in my vehicle like this. Well, first and foremost, I mean, this was my father's daily driver, 2017 Hyundai Sonata, Eco Trim. This is my father's daily driver. He drove this to and from work, which prior, as you know, I also know my father did pass through cardiac arrest. That did transpire in the 13th of September, 2019, and he passed very peacefully in our kitchen. I was there observing him, and it was a nightmare. It was a certifiable nightmare on that day, and I just tried to. It was a flash, and just like that, it was going through adrenaline. My mother was certainly feeling it. And my sister, it really took a toll on our family, and we lost a great asset in our family. I mean, my father was, he was a workhorse and a warrior. And when, and he had life experience. He had positive experience and negative experience. And, just making sure I'm not hearing anything suspicious. I think it probably was a dog. But it's a very safe neighborhood, so there's not any concerns about that. Obviously, you do have to watch, you do have to cover your six, and that's one down here. It's like a few years prior, you're thinking, I probably, I'm not going to be outside. You don't feel safe outside, but you grow up, and experiences make you grow up. And with what happened, transpired with my father, that's what made me grow up. And it was very scary, because I was scared straight. I was scared straight back in 2019, and then I was scared straight with what transpired with my mother, unfortunately, in mid-July, or 23rd of July last year. And that's the reason why I'm sitting in this vehicle right now, inhabiting it. I have a handset here to call 911. Just in case. And that's terribly unfortunate for my mother. I have her iPhone right here. My lunch, and I'm inhabiting a vehicle. It's 55 degrees right now, so it's nice and warm. You don't have to be concerned about that. The fuel is good, so I don't have to worry about that. Basically, what happened with my mother was she took my father's passing very, very difficult. And initially she did grieve, but she pushed herself through the grief. And January of 2020, she said, okay, I'm done grieving, and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to basically take on mediumship. I'm going to start being spiritual now. I'm going to start communicating with my father, and to just keep their relationship, stable, or just. If it's not going to be a physical relationship, it'll be a spiritual relationship. That was my mother's aim. And I said, okay, I'm going to support you. Go ahead and do that. It will help to quell your emotions. You will not be as sad and angry. Grieving, it's a process. Bargaining, aggression, all of that. It is a process, and I do understand that. Having said that, my mother executed it more or less the wrong way. And she went through multiple mediums, like she went through mediums through Facebook and all that. And eventually she would find this medium that, she established a great friendship with. And she was, she was a very wonderful woman. She had a great disposition about herself. And, she decided, okay, I'm going to come down to your house and start the readings there. She started one reading off per week. And then from there, it started being two. And then from there, I would say up to, just making sure. Vehicle went by. Just making sure. You never know. You never know. You take life seriously. You never know what can happen. Happen in an instant. But my mother, she started with this medium. They started talking, and the medium ultimately gave my mother the ins and outs of spiritualism, and I came to hear God, Jesus, Archangel Michael, Samuel, King Samuel, all that, all the intricacies of the Bible and such. And my mother, she started saying in July, 14th of July to be exact, something that struck me very differently about her, because she was saying, okay, why don't we just stop the readings now? I'm going to take this on myself. And I guess there was some type of construction, some kind of impediment that was not allowing, the medium to come to our house. So that played into it as well. So it would be that Saturday in July where my mother started having these very drastic transformations. I would say they were very irregular, not like my mother at all whatsoever. And they were very consistent with somewhere between delusions, psychosis, and some paranoid schizophrenia. She started talking to herself. She started checking on reality. She started losing herself. And there would be an incident, I kid you not, where she started hearing God. And God started becoming a dictatorial force in her life. And she started doing this devil proofing in her house. So she started taking paper towels and throwing them on our bathtub on our second floor, and doing this, these deterrents to prevent the devil's energy from entering our house, which is right there. And she started doing that. She started acting very irregular. She started talking all the way up here in this high-pitched voice like this, like she made this very drastic conversion, like she thought she was an archangel, and it went along with delusions. It was very scary. She basically walked out of my house nude. She walked in front. I was petrified. I mean, she is 51 years old now. She just turned 51 years old a few months prior. She said, God told me to do this. She said, you better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out. Like, I mean, are you kidding me right now? Who am I looking at? This is not my mother. There was a serious problem here. And then that's when the slew of hospitalizations would start. And that would last until approximately Thanksgiving Day. After Thanksgiving Day, she said, the doctors were saying, there's nothing we can find with her, and she was treating it as a retreat. Basically, every time she was being discharged from a medical facility, she was coming back and settling right back into her habit. And then from there, it just started becoming progressively worse, absolutely progressively worse. And you could say 2 weeks prior, she started making a transformation like I've never seen. She was not being worshiping or anything like that, but everything was Father's this, Father that, Father's this. It's over. Everybody says I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I have to do this. I've lost my kids. There's negative energy. There's negative energy in this house. And I'm trying to get my mom. I'm saying, Mom, stop. Stop it now, or something's going to happen. You're going to commit suicide, or something's going to happen. You're destroying yourself, and you're not taking life seriously. And my sister, she's going to go to advanced placement. Like, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I would call 911 multiple times. I contacted the police multiple times. And it's like nothing was getting through to her. It's okay. Now, she starts having outbursts. This is, 2 Sundays prior. His wailing, screaming, everything, you name it. She's had 15 mental breakdowns. She's snapped multiple times. She threatened to kill somebody. She did not mention who it was. I'm telling the police this, and they're saying, basically we cannot hear against her will. And it's like, okay, I'm trying to tell you there's a severe threat that could harm myself or my sister, or or destruction of our property. I'll cut to today. She was going at it again. She was terrible. I had locked her out of the house. I was on the defense for my sister. We had a door latch on our kitchen door. She basically breached that, broke the wood trim right off our door, and that the work that my father painted on, and here we are today. So my sister's getting she's getting guardianship. My mother's getting guardianship. It's terrible. It's just terrible.